One of the best things about having friends who are also crafters is that they can inspire you. So my friend Jen Mason sent me this gorgeous scrapbook page, and I was wondering how she did the background. I thought she had painted it, but she actually told me that she monoprinted it. Now, monoprinting is one of my favorite mixed media techniques, but I had never seen it quite like this. I am used to monoprinting that looks a little bit more like this. It is using acrylic paint. It's kind of lots of nice blendy colors mixing together. A couple images come through if you use stamps or stencils or something like that. But she actually came up with a technique that uses watercolor paints, and I'm excited that I get to share that technique with you today. So the first thing you need for a monoprint, and if you're wondering what a monoprint is, it's a mono one print, meaning it's a unique and individual print that will only be made once. So you need a monoprinting plate of some kind. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab my monoprinting plate here. And I'm gonna peel the plastic off of one side of it. There's plastic on both sides, but you know, again, lazy crafter, I don't actually need to pull the plastic off the other side. Then the next thing I'm gonna need is I'm gonna need a brayer. And here's a fun little tip. Do you know why brayers have feet on them? It's because rubber brayers will flatten out over time. So when you store your brayer, you always wanna put it with the little feet side down, okay? So I have my brayer, I have some palette paper, and then I'm going to be using some paints. Now these look a lot like acrylic paints because they come in a tube, but actually they're tube watercolors. And I'm gonna put some out onto my palette paper. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab another color to put out with it, because why use one color when you can use two? And then I've put it out there. Now I'm gonna take my brayer and I'm gonna roll them both at the same time. So if I roll them at the same time, you can see they're starting to come out. And I'm gonna move my brayer vaguely side to side, a little bit side to side, and I can roll all the way through my brayer. And now I'm getting that nice blend of purple in the middle. And if you do any kind of polymer clay stuff, you know they call this Skinner's blend, which is how you get that nice blend of color. So I've got my blend, oops, and my brayer is sticking, and I can roll either way. And once this is all on the brayer, can you see how we go from the red through the purple into the blue? I'm gonna go ahead and apply my watercolor paint to my plate. And I'm just gonna roll through, and I can reload, and I can do it again, and I can reload, and I can do it again. And I'm just getting that nice color down on there. You do not have to color the whole plate. Now, because this is watercolor, I'm not going to clean my brayer because it's gonna come off with a little bit of water even if it's completely dry. If this were acrylic paint, I would clean my brayer immediately after. I'm also not worried about the paint drying because it's watercolor. So again, if it dries, I don't care, I'm totally fine. I could actually answer the phone, walk away, come back, it could be completely dry and I could still do this technique. Because this technique is based on reactivating the watercolor. And all I need for that is some water and a brush. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take my brush. It's a fairly wet brush. And I'm just gonna do some shapes right into my watercolor. This is nothing fancy. This is just a circle. You could certainly get really fancy and draw a face or flowers or a butterfly or stars, dinosaur if you wanted to do something cool and you were a good artist, whatever it is you want to do, or even if you're a bad artist, hey. And you're just gonna keep going and playing around, adding in whatever shapes it is that you want. The water is the most important part because that water is doing all the work for us. So make it as thick or as thin as you want. You can add some water drops if you want. Remember, this is a monoprint. It's gonna be unique to you. Then I'm gonna take some paper, and this is just regular smooth cardstock here, and I'm gonna go ahead, there's a smooth side and a rough side. I'm printing on the slightly rougher side, and what I'm gonna do is just place it down, rub with my important tool, which is my hand. Rub, 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 to get that nice. Make sure I'm getting all that reactivated watercolor. Pull it off, ooh, for the big reveal. And I think it looks absolutely amazing, right? It looks like I painted it on there. You see the whole blend, the circles pull up, and it's really in the places that we activated. But wait, there's still paint on here, and I don't wanna let that go to waste. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my brush again, and I'm gonna go ahead and just add some more water to it. And again, now if this were acrylic paint, this would not work. This has to be done with watercolor because it reactivates with the addition of any kind of water. So you can go for a while printing on there. And now I'm going to take my second sheet of cardstock and I'm going to go ahead and now you have another background to share with a friend, right? And I'm going to go ahead and print that, pull it off. And you can see I'm getting kind of a ghost of the first image along with where this was very wet, some of the rest of it. So let's take a look at the finished layout and I will tell you exactly how we finish that off. Added a little bit of stamping, which you can see here and here, some cork, because you know mixed media is all about using texture and all sorts of stuff like that. And then of course we cut an embellishment out of an extra print so nothing goes to waste. I want to show you one tip about stamping though, which is these are cling stamps and they will cling obviously to a block, but you don't have to use them that way. You can totally just ink them up, take it in your hand, push it onto your cardstock like that, and print it. No block needed, and it adds more of a handmade look. So I hope that you will give monoprinting a try. It's fun, it's easy, and especially with watercolor, you don't have to worry about cleaning up at all.